Right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Hello, wherever you are. My name is Paul. I do the daily teaser, which you've possibly seen floating past. I also talk about TV shows. I've recently watched an old Doctor Who series called The Faceless Ones. I also talk about movies I've seen. I tell you if I like them or if I don't. Just so you know, I'm going to tell you about a film I've seen tonight, and at the start, let me tell you that I do a rating system based on stars. It goes from 0 stars right at the bottom to 4 stars right at the top. 0 means forget it, 4 stars means go get it now. Tonight's movie was Herbert West Reanimator, a recent 2017 Italian version. Let's try and give you a very brief summary, shall I? Herbert West Reanimator shows Dr. Herbert West, a man who loses his talented daughter Eleanor in a car crash, only to try and revive her multiple times with multiple variations of a special secret serum designed to bring somebody back from the dead. He's only successful in reanimating her with her soul and intelligence intact at the last attempt. Many years later, Eleanor is a talented violinist who goes on a murderous rampage. Frankly, that is where I turned off Herbert West Reanimator. Let me try and tell you why, shall I? It's got to be said, the film or the book sometimes can be either a good thing or a bad thing. There seems to be no two ways about it. It's good or it's bad. It's 4 stars or it's 0 stars. I've seen 2 versions of The Colour Out of Space recently, a German version, also known as Die Farbe, and a recent Nicolas Cage version, both of which I found perfectly good films. I gave 3 to the German version and 4 to the Nicolas Cage version, for example. They're both good films, they're entertaining, they're very watchable, and they're true to the book. The David Lynch version of Dune, whatever its merits, and I know it's going to be much argued about Dune, at least tries to stick close to the book. It tries to, in that oh so crazy David Lynch way, tries to stick close to what's on the page. Unlike the unmade Jodorowsky version, which radically changed the exit, and I am glad it didn't get made, to be honest with you. Jackson's take on Lord of the Rings. That is possibly the textbook version of how to make a good film out of a book. It stays fairly true as far as possible to what's on or what Tolkien wrote, whilst making a good film, and it's a beautifully done piece of work. All 3 films are. They're long, my God, they're long, but everything on that screen is what's on the page. Blade Runner, that's the other one that springs to mind here. Ridley Scott's versions of Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. Again, it's possibly one you can argue about. Some of it's in the book, some of it isn't, but generally speaking, Scott tried to take as much from the book as he could, but also worked in collaboration with Philip K. Dick, the book's author, and got his informal approval about what he was doing. So it works, and it's a fantastic film. This version of Herbert West Reanimator, though, this version of Herbert West Reanimator is beautifully lit, it's beautifully colorized, there's some beautiful mountain scenery, but this literally, for me, in part was annoying. There is very little on screen that's justified by Lovecraft's original text. There is a few bits and bobs that you could argue have been lifted from the 85 Jeffrey Combs version. But as far as I'm concerned, this Italian version of Herbert West Reanimator, this is not the story I paid to see. This has very little to do with the novel. It's moody, it's mean, it's nicely lit, but I'm going to tell you I've given this film 0 stars. I'm going to tell you not to bother seeing it if you want to see the story as told by Lovecraft. This film It's not that book. Avoid it if you can, folks. Thank you for watching.